Hello everybody and welcome to Every Movie Ever. I am your host Eric and this is the show where we are trying to review every movie ever made. And we're going to start off this week with 50 Shades Freed, the third and final installment in the 50 Shades of Grey trilogy. Now if you're a longtime watcher of the show, you will know that I have, God help me, enjoyed the previous two 50 Shades movies. Now, full disclosure, I do not think I enjoyed them in the way that the producers would have liked me to enjoy them. These are definitely films in the so bad they're good category. And I thought that the first two were a lot of fun to watch. Real dumb, but in a fun way. 50 Shades Freed, however, is the most boring entry in the 50 Shades franchise. Hard to say why. I mean, certainly at the beginning of the movie, they sort of jump the shark and Sam and Diane it by having, at least in as much as a 50 Shades movie could, in having our two lead characters, the impossibly named Christian Grey and Anastasia Steele, get married. The rest of the movie is, yeah, it just doesn't have the pizzazz of the other two. I have heard out on the street that the actors who play Christian and Anastasia do not like each other, and you start to feel that here, as this is the most boring and disaffected entry of the franchise. In a series of movies that are already fairly poorly acted, this one feels the most like the characters are just sort of, you know, walking through the, you know, phoning it in. That, you know, as far as what the movie is, I mean, it's the usual vanilla depictions of what are supposed to be, you know, more, I'm trying to think of how to say it, for a family-friendly program, more extreme adult activities, let's put it that way. Vanilla depictions of extreme adult activities. And like now, 50 Shades Darker, the second entry, introduced the idea of there being like helicopter crashes and weird sorts of vaguely action movie shenanigans in these films. This one ratchets it up a little bit in a bit of the movie that I find both, there's maybe both my favorite and least favorite parts of the movie, because it does ratchet things up to unnecessary extremes, wherein Anastasia's boss, Hyde, who Christian fired in the previous movie for trying to take advantage of Anastasia, he's back for revenge, and in what we understand to be just a couple of days, if not at most a couple of weeks, he has assembled a James Bond level of gadgetry and planning to set out on a kidnapping plot to have his revenge on Mr. and Mrs. Grey. So this is at once the most ridiculous and the most boring entry in the franchise. How they pulled that off, I don't know. Only 50 Shades could do it. As usual, only Dakota Johnson seems to come through these movies with any sort of charm, but she's so sleepwalking through this one that that's not there either. Boring, disaffected, also confusing. It's not like I've seen any of the previous two movies more than the once, so their desire to pull in loose plot threads and random characters from the previous movies is only confusing to me. 50 Shades Freed, 2 stars.